McLaren's 2026 car was supposed to lead a new era, but what if I told you the FIA has just leaked proof that it might already be broken? We're talking about overheating batteries, unstable hybrid deployment, and a flawed design that could knock McLaren out of title contention before the season even begins. How bad is it? Why is the team silent? And could this push Norris or Piastri to walk away from McLaren entirely? The real story goes way deeper than anyone expected. If you want the raw truth behind the biggest F1 secrets and leaks, make sure you subscribe right now. Because this is just the beginning, and what's coming next will shock everyone. The leak wasn't just a spreadsheet or a file dump, it was a direct shot into the heart of McLaren's 2026 program. Somewhere deep in the FIA's confidential technical audit, performance data tied to McLaren's hybrid architecture and aerodynamic integration slipped into the hands of the paddock. What teams found was alarming, evidence suggesting that McLaren's entire energy deployment system is bottlenecked under high-load conditions. This isn't a minor calibration issue. It's a fundamental design flaw, and in Formula One, that means war. At the center of the controversy is the way McLaren chose to package their power unit and energy recovery system under the new 2026 regulations. With turbo-hybrid engines downsized and energy recovery playing a larger role in performance delivery, thermal efficiency became the new gold standard. But McLaren's solution, described internally as compact hybrid prioritization, appears to sacrifice cooling capacity in favor of aerodynamic gain. On paper, it's brilliant. On track? The data says otherwise. The FIA findings indicate significant spikes in battery temperature during mid-stint deployment cycles, especially when the car runs in DRS zones or pushes in high-speed sequences. In simplified terms, the system overheats when the driver needs it most. This kind of heat saturation limits energy regeneration and output consistency, meaning McLaren's 2026 car could be vulnerable at precisely the moments when rivals unleash full performance. That's not just a technical detail, it's a race-losing equation. Inside McLaren, this leak has turned into a full-blown alarm. Team principal Andrea Stella and technical director Peter Prodromou are now racing against time to revalidate the car's cooling design, hybrid configuration, and even software mapping. And while internal meetings remain classified, insiders suggest the tone is no longer strategic, it's defensive. The team believed they had a championship contender in the making. Now, they're questioning whether they can even deliver a reliable car for pre-season testing. What makes this even more damaging is how the leak affects McLaren's credibility in the paddock. For 2 seasons, they've built a reputation as the smart team, the outfit that punches above its weight with bold innovation and sharp execution. But this leak changes the narrative. If the FIA's technical data is accurate, and there's no reason to doubt it, McLaren may have miscalculated the single most important integration in the 2026 rulebook. And every rival is now watching, waiting for them to trip again. To add fuel to the fire, this revelation comes at a critical juncture in McLaren's long-term trajectory. With Oscar Piastri maturing into a frontrunner and Lando Norris at the peak of his consistency, the team was poised to challenge for titles. But drivers don't stay loyal to projects that stall, not in this era. If McLaren can't stabilize the ship quickly, they risk not just technical fallout, but losing control over their most valuable assets, their drivers. This isn't just about cooling ducts or power mapping. It's about momentum. The kind of internal momentum that powers confidence, retains talent, and draws sponsors. The kind of momentum that wins championships over a 3-year cycle. McLaren thought they had it. The FIA's leak says otherwise. And unless they deliver a flawless response under extreme time pressure, the cost of this exposure could echo far beyond 2026. Inside the McLaren Technology Center, the atmosphere has shifted from confident execution to quiet urgency. What was once a forward-leaning 2026 development operation has now become a full-scale containment effort. The moment the FIA's leaked documents became public among rival teams, the technical leadership at McLaren, including Peter Prodromou and David Sanchez, initiated an internal review of all power unit packaging simulations. What they found confirmed the worst: their cooling assumptions, based on predictive models run mid-2024, are now out of sync with FIA baseline telemetry for the new regulatory cycle. The key issue revolves around heat rejection capacity under high-load deployment. McLaren had prioritized aggressive aerodynamic packaging, including a narrow Coke bottle zone and ultra-thin sidepod architecture inspired by Red Bull's previous RB19 philosophy. However, under the 2026 rules, with active aero playing a larger role and electric deployment set to double in strategic weight, that tight packaging is proving insufficient for consistent thermal management. The FIA's leak has not only revealed this vulnerability, it's given other teams a clear blueprint of what not to do. Leadership's immediate response was triage. A dedicated crisis team has reportedly been formed, pulling senior staff from hybrid simulations, fluid dynamics, and powertrain cooling integration. Their goal: redesign thermal flow architecture without compromising the aero concept that underpins the 2026 chassis. That's not just difficult, it's near impossible under the current cost cap and time window. As of now, every 2026 milestone from dyno validation to full track integration is under review. Delays could be coming, and they would be catastrophic. There's growing tension in the design office. Engineers are caught in a loop forced to question their own data, while also working under NDA lockdowns to prevent further leaks. Internal morale has reportedly taken a hit, with several senior technical analysts requesting schedule reprioritization to avoid burnout. These aren't rookie mistakes. This is a miscalculation at the heart of a program that was believed to be F1's most balanced 2026 project. And the psychological damage from that kind of error is just as dangerous as the technical gap. At the executive level, team principal Andrea Stella is walking a tightrope. He must present calm to the media, confidence to the shareholders, and urgency to the factory, all while dealing with a technical shortfall that could erase 2 years of development gains. Behind closed doors, strategy meetings have reportedly shifted to contingency mode. Plan A was title contention. Plan B is survival. And survival means having a reliable platform ready by preseason. Nothing more, nothing less. The most delicate pressure point might be with the drivers. Lando Norris has been fiercely loyal to the project, often declining offers from rival teams in exchange for belief in McLaren's long-term vision. But belief has limits. And Piastri, younger and more tactical in his career path, will certainly be watching how McLaren navigates this crisis. In today's F1, trust between drivers and teams is built on progress, not promises. And right now, McLaren is in danger of losing that trust at a pivotal moment in contract negotiations and career arcs. What was once McLaren's edge, bold design, aggressive packaging, and early concept commitment has now become its trap. The team is moving fast to adapt, but the pressure is relentless. Deadlines are closing in. Rivals are gaining confidence. And the paddock smells blood. McLaren's response in the next 60 days will decide whether they remain a title threat in 2026, or fall back into the midfield before a single lap is raced. Rival teams have wasted no time dissecting the McLaren leak. In the cutthroat world of Formula One, weaknesses are currency, and what McLaren tried to hide is now being openly discussed across technical briefings from Maranello to Milton Keynes. Ferrari's aerodynamic team, still fine-tuning its 2026 side pod design, is believed to have already adjusted its cooling philosophy after seeing the implications of McLaren's flawed integration. This is Formula One's version of battlefield intelligence, and McLaren just lost the element of surprise. At Red Bull, the reaction has been sharper. Helmut Marko reportedly briefed his aero engineers to double down on simulation comparisons between Red Bull's current cooling efficiency and the exposed McLaren layouts. While Newey may be gone, the culture of adaptive innovation remains. Red Bull is not just learning from McLaren's mistake, they're refining their own packaging to push harder in other areas, particularly in active aero wing movement and ERS deployment strategy. The leak is already helping their concept mature faster. Mercedes, too, have taken note. After 2 rocky seasons, the Brackley team sees this development as a gift. Their engineers, having adopted a more conservative design path for 2026, suddenly look like the ones playing the long game. Sources suggest the leaked documents reinforce their internal philosophy: reliability first, performance second. What looked like a lack of risk now appears like smart restraint. And in a sport where perception feeds momentum, this shift in narrative could give Mercedes a psychological edge as testing nears. Smaller teams are seizing the moment in a different way. For outfits like Aston Martin and Sauber Audi, the leak is a learning opportunity they couldn't afford through traditional means. Without top-tier CFD or dyno time, seeing a top team's conceptual failure offers a rare shortcut to better decisions. One insider from Enstone remarked that this kind of access, even indirect, is like getting to read the exam questions before the test. In a sport governed by knowledge, that's invaluable. The political layer is even more intriguing. Within the FIA, some believe the leak might have been strategic. Not accidental, but deliberate, intended to pressure teams into greater transparency around compliance with 2026 cooling and hybrid regulations. If that's true, McLaren's pain could be part of a broader regulatory chess game. One that not only tests engineering, but also how well teams adapt to the power politics that define modern Formula One. Beyond the garages, driver camps are watching closely. Charles Leclerc's management reportedly contacted Ferrari to ask whether their 2026 development shares any structural similarity to McLaren's exposed configuration. Similarly, Alex Albon and Esteban Ocon, both evaluating long-term options, are said to be reassessing their 2027 prospects based on who gets 2026 right. In Formula One, your value as a driver is tied to the car's potential. If McLaren's car is compromised, their leverage in future contracts just took a hit. The effect is clear: McLaren's leak hasn't just set them back. It's accelerating everyone else. In an era defined by millisecond margins and energy efficiency wars, information is everything. And right now, rival teams are arming themselves with knowledge that was never meant to leave McLaren's servers. The 2026 season hasn't started yet, but in every top factory, battle lines are already being redrawn. And McLaren, once a frontrunner in innovation, is now forced into reactive mode.